Hi, everyone. We're Art Matters New York. We're going to talk about some artwork that we've done this week with our painters who are here with us today, as well as my colleague. Hi, everyone. We're Art Matters New York. We're going to talk about some artwork that we've done this week with our painters who are here with us today, as well as my colleague. Everyone. We're Art Matters New York.
I don't know what's wrong again.
About this feedback issue.
Yeah.
It's something very simple to remedy. I mean, everyone is Zooming live. So I wonder what the problem is.
Because I'm just hitting the button. And, the one
Yeah,
that
last time it didn't happen. It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Hans, do you want to take control and then you try it? You have to be the host. So how do we? I'm so sorry, you guys. I tried to do this.
Oh, hey, it's technology. It's beyond most of us except for Hans.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna try another way. Okay, let me just try, and then it'd be great if you be the host. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see. We try it.
Excuse me.
I think my thing, it says still live, you see.
I'm gonna try another way. Okay, let me just try, and then it'd be great if you be the host. Let's see.
Yeah. We try it. Technology.
No, I don't know. I don't know. So how can I move you to the host? Do you know? I can. The video is stopped, right?
No, it says still live.
It says still live.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start now when it works. I don't hear anything now at all.
Oh, okay. So Mark, start and.
One more time.
Yeah. Now
Well,
we are back.
I'm so sorry, guys. Hans, can you know how to go in and get rid of that first part?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Okay.
I will do that.
All right. Hit it, Mark.
Good morning, everyone. We are Art Matters New York. We're a group of artists that discuss our work and the work of occasional guests. Our regular painters are with us today, as well as my colleague, Hans Vici.
Hi, everyone.
And I welcome everyone to our forum. Today, we've been on a little hiatus, summer break, and so we have a little work to look at today. So let's just begin. I'm going to open the screen here and take a look.
Oh,
Are you surprised?
yeah.
So this is Barbara Lowenstein's work. Barbara?
Yes.
Tell us what we're looking at.
Okay. It's a watercolor that was done at the Outer Banks. This is heat and sun and sky and water. I just kept fiddling with it afterwards, but the basic form of it was done there at the beach.
What's the size of this?
It's one of those watercolor pads that's about, it's narrow, like 3.5 by 6, something like that.
Oh, so it's actually.
It's a long, narrow, almost greeting card size. Excuse me.
It has a sense of being a lot bigger than that.
Oh, good. Good,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's hard to, determine the scale. I mean, it feels like it could be, any size at all.
I like that. I'll take that as a compliment. I have to take them when I can.
Right. Yeah.
Did you apply chalk or other kind of paint? Or
No, it was actually water and Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons. And I might have used a little bit of watercolor, pan watercolor as well, but I'm not sure. I really do think it was mostly crayon. And it was, like taking away as well as putting on, using paper towels, scratching a bit, using, I like to use these wall sponges. They're very good at picking up paint afterwards, taking it away.
they natural sponges or?
No, they're called wall sponges. Those white rectangular things that you use to clean
Oh, Mr. Clean.
walls. Yeah. So they work really well. Or you can use a paper towel.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, salt also, but I didn't use salt on this one.
I,
All
I,
those
like,
things. I'm sorry.
I like, Barbara, the volatile appearance, and there is sort of a mystery for me. It's not so easy to read, it's not a clear piece of a landscape. It could be, because of the format, which is
Yeah.
it's not horizontal. I like that. It's it's interesting. It's something between going on, becoming something. It's like
Mhm.
I like that quality.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also it has a very low horizon, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being up here, which gives the appearance that we're looking straight up at something very high.
Transcendent.
Take the point of view and you lower it, it makes, the object appear much taller. And so that effect which is probably why I was surprised with the scale, because this
Mhm.
jet is almost floral thing. I know it's the sun.
Wow.
You can see.
Yeah. I wasn't actually, it's funny, my granddaughter was sitting next to me and she was painting a much more literal landscape of the ocean and the sky. And I wasn't conscious of doing that. I sort of felt like it worked its way into it.
It's also, it has something monstrous going on. We don't know if it's going into something bad or good. You don't know. It's like you're on that edge, which you are. That's interesting. There's a lot of power in there in a way because of that undecidedness in a way.
I think the force of the ocean wound up being in there.
I love it. I think it kind of reminds me, I don't know why, but like of Chagall. There's a lot of interesting shapes, and I don't know, it just has like a lot of power to it, but I like what Hans was saying, you kind of can't tell exactly what it is, but it's spiritual or religious in a way. I don't know. I see some wings in there to the middle left.
Somewhat.
Like wings.
Oh, I see. Yes,
I don't
yes.
know, it seems like religious to me somehow.
It's
I
like
don't-
the falling angel theme. Or
Yes,
falling,
yeah.
Ah,
you know, there a lot of
Hmm.
things it comes to my mind also.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
I
Very
see that.
interesting.
Hmm.
It's really
Aren't
beautiful.
we all fallen angels?
Mm.
It could be also the devil, you know, which suddenly constitutes, you know, it's like there is anthropomorphic stuff going on, you know, which
Yeah, yeah.
something becomes human or I don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
thank
it.
you, thank you. It was the first thing I did all summer. I just was
Very-
glad to do something.
It's
was-
fabulous.
Ah,
This is something now completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, and now for something completely different.
this is
very-
this is you?
Yeah, yeah.
Terrific.
Where did this come from? What were you thinking?
Okay,
Curious.
my camera just happened to, I somehow clicked the shutter without knowing it.
Right.
So I had like a random set of shapes that I liked. So what I did was I made a drawing of those random shapes, and then I decided to photograph my drawing.
Mhm.
So it flattened it from the original mess that the camera had taken random. So it flattened it, and then so I had the photo paper with the drawing, and I looked at it and I started to draw on it with color on it, put some color down, again with the Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons, but without using it with water.
Oh,
And the more I did it, the more I realized that I wanted it to be a figure. And I felt that I was being influenced by so many artists of color having their work. And it kind of took that direction. And then in terms of the blockiness of it, I wound up thinking of Marisol, whose work I was just looking at. So that's what happened. And then the more I started working on it, the more I started feeling like, wait a minute, this is a human form. This is a figure.
Yeah. I don't understand when you say, that it was informed by artists of color necessarily. I don't see what the direct link is. So can you?
Well, this is a person of color.
Oh,
I see.
Yeah.
subject.
Is a person of color or an indigenous person. I mean,
Oh.
I've just seen so many paintings of indigenous and people of color
Okay.
that it kind of seeped into my consciousness.
Okay.
I mean, it has something like also a totem fall.
Yes,
Something.
yes.
I was not necessarily thinking of people of color, but I see that. But I mean, the first thing I saw or felt was in a way all the backgrounds of Egon Schiele.
Yeah.
Very interestingly enough, you
yes.
know.
Oh, wow.
And that came to my mind first, actually.
Definitely.
Oh,
But
Can
it
you
makes sense when you explain it somehow, you know, with yeah. It's interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't want to interrupt you, but can you explain what you meant by Egon Schiele, like that it reminded you of that?
Yeah, you know, when he has his backgrounds or landscape-ish things, he has this type of sort of, you know, textures thing going on,
yeah.
which you know, it came to my mind, you know.
That's interesting.
I think
Yeah.
I saw it as like an Asian warrior.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Like the
Yes,
hat
yeah.
kind of reminds me of that. And then the pants and the belts and I don't know, just it kind of reminded me of
Mm.
like an Asian, like a Chinese or Japanese warrior.
Because of
Yeah,
the-
that could be, because that could be then the headdress. I was
Yeah.
thinking hair, but it could also be a headdress, sure.
It's a nice drawing. I like the placement on the page. I like the centrality, how it fits to this sort of loose rectangle. I like this line, that just this line that goes down here, this little sketch.
Yes,
And the forms in the piece are great. These, and the colors are really well done too. And I'll tell you
Thank
what
you.
I really like about it is that you didn't overwork it. So I like the fact that I can see your actual mark making,
Mm,
becoming this kind of, atmosphere, or,
mm,
you're,
mhm,
you frequently do.
mhm,
I like that, all these shapes have
mm.
discrete forms. And as I said before, the mark making, the sketchiness, I think it all works,
Thank you, thank you,
feel overworked, feels fresh.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
very much so.
I really like
Yeah.
I love the palette. The colors I think are really great, really interesting. The
No, I
gold.
really enjoyed doing it. It was, I had never done anything like this, and the blockiness
Yeah.
reminded me, I see what you mean about Egon Schiele, but I had just been looking at some pictures of Marisol's sculpture.
Yeah.
And that was sort of in my mind, but
Really,
It's good. It's
I
well
love
done.
it.
really nicely done.
thank you, thank you.
No, I'm looking at Egon Schiele. I see exactly what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Ah,
Very similar. Can you see?
Really, the
like-
way it sits on the page is somewhat reminiscent of that period and Sheila and the
ah,
Viennese,
yeah.
secessionists.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely calls that to
Yeah,
mind.
and they were also influenced by Japanese paintings
I can see that with
from far away. You know what I'm saying? And I see the samurai up there. The head of
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the headdress.
the samurai.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting how things are unconsciously coming into. You know what I'm saying? Into
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's great when you can let the unconscious in. It's so hard to do sometimes,
I like, by the way, also this tail down there coming out of, we don't know from where, but it's like a weird thing. But this weird thing makes something with this whole drawing,
You mean this handle thing?
If that wouldn't be there, no, further down.
This thing?
Yeah, yes, this,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Like it.
I like it a lot too.
But it
Thank
makes
you.
it makes the very special thing also.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Really
Thank you. You
nicely.
know what? I found that I can draw on matte photo paper. So I like this way of working.
Nice.
Mm, mhm.
So these are like rubbings, I can see.
Yes. This is rubbings from, it's a little Chinese, I don't know what it is, if it's an amulet or what, but I can show it to you if you want to see it.
Yeah. Can you put it up to the camera a little bit more?
Okay.
Can you can you see?
Put
Shine.
it closer. Put it closer.
I see.
Jadeite or something.
Up, up. Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like this little thing, and I thought, it's so textural. Let me try it.
Mhm.
Love it.
Yeah, great. nice.
So what do? You put color on it and then rub it on the,
I put it underneath the paper, and I started out by just using pencil on this first one on the right-hand side, but the others are done with just putting water on top of it, and then again the Caran d'Ache water crayons. Just it's hard to get it.
Hmm.
Like I would like the green and the purple to be not as intense. So that was kind of a challenge to tone it down a little bit, because I kind of liked the center parts better.
Why didn't you just do another one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
why
will.
at the time, if you weren't, happy with,
Oh, at the time.
yeah, why didn't you just start? I mean, it doesn't look like it was, it would take that much to just start again and do what, make the colors more what you.
Yeah, yeah. It was very late already when so I just didn't go any further with it.
But Barbara, a following question. This looks like a section to me. Is that the whole piece here?
Yes, it is the whole, actually, I did cut off the
Uh-huh.
purple
I see.
on the side and a little bit of the purple on the bottom, and
That's what I feel.
I liked it better that way. The other way, it just looks, I don't know.
I think the piece is, it's a nice piece, but
Mm.
it's not the depth of the other pieces you show.
No,
You
no.
know what I'm saying? It's just, I
Yeah.
think you can go on here a little bit more. Even it's
Yeah.
beautiful, so-called.
But that's why, I mean, that's why I suggested that if it wasn't going the way you wanted to, you should I would, just do another one. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, getting this initial, the rubbing is not that difficult,
No,
And,
no.
I would just,
Right. I kind of added this in just at a last minute. I was even thinking I shouldn't, because it's right. It's not realized yet.
right.
Yeah. But I kind of like the idea of it being juggling balls in the air.
Yeah. But
Okay,
it's not transcending. This is still on a level which is not transcending to something. Yes.
Right.
What
Yeah.
I'm-
Yeah.
So
I may do more of these. I don't know.
you can go on.
Barbara, I'm so impressed with how many different formats you've been trying. I think you're really like
Thank you.
stretching, and I think I happen to really like this. I like how it's color and black and white. I think it has
Mm.
action. Maybe it's not as finished as the other pieces, but I think it's great. It's like a terrific start, and I love how varied your work is. And I applaud all of your desire to try new things, and I think it's great.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you.
all
I
right.
enjoyed it. I
Barbara,
haven't
I
done
have-
anything all summer.
I have still
So,
a question, Barbara. Are you
Sure.
working always on a table? I mean, on a
Yeah.
very small table, right?
I'm working on a
And
pretty
you
big
never
table.
work. You never go down on the floor and do something bigger. You don't do that.
If I get down on the floor, I would have trouble getting up.
I see. Okay. So you would have started earlier to do that.
Admit to that.
Yeah.
Yes. But sometimes I have a feeling, you are restricting yourself. When you do these things with these rubbings here, I can imagine to do a bigger thing,
Do the lot.
which suddenly things are happening. You understand? Here it looks like it's like a test. I like the color here too. They are classic. It's beautiful. But I mean, there is, it's not transcending because you may make a bigger piece maybe about those things, and then you are more challenged also.
Yes.
Uh,
I could try that, but
yes.
sometimes I do feel like working larger.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
should.
otherwise you have to hire an assistant which bends down and does the things for you.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Remember when Matisse was bedridden? What did he do?
He had lots of people doing his cut.
Yes, with a pointed stick. If you don't want to get down on the floor,
Yeah.
use a brush on a handle, like a scrub brush with a handle on it.
Oh, that's
What
true.
you could do.
Right?
Right. A mop. A
Oh.
sponge mop.
No, that would destroy the paper. But what I'm saying is, use a couple of different objects with a
Sure.
large piece of paper and a
Yeah.
brush with a handle and see what happens.
Right?
Yeah. Brush with the handle. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
I
very
think it's
free
free.
also.
Even a big piece of paper on the wall, if you could tape other objects underneath the paper, just take.
I think they'd
some
fall
on a
down.
wall,
You
I see what
couldn't
they
really do that. Yeah.
A grate, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many possibilities once you go down this road. Yeah.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
gonna-
you, Barbara. Yeah.
We're going to move on to,
Thank-
these are works by Marcia.
Mm.
Marcia, I
Yes.
just, there weren't that many pieces. I thought that you were going to, send, when you said, that you, didn't want us to take too much time, or you didn't want to dominate, or, the session. So I just included all of them. I didn't think it was that many. I think they're all interesting. And I think we could,
Mm.
is that okay?
I said 9 pieces.
Oh, I only got 8. I got 8, I believe, maybe 9. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
I numbered them in according, and I photographed them in the order in which they were done.
Okay.
Some are
Mm.
more successful, some are
I-
awful.
Can I just go through them? Like,
Oh, good idea.
Yeah,
Just-
then we go back and yeah,
Yeah.
that we have a little bit an idea what's going on.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, wonderful.
Wow.
great color here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
Color is really terrific.
Thank you.
Very nice. These are so dynamic.
Oh, they are. Wow.
That's a beauty.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send you all of it then. That's
Good.
the one that's the start of something big for me.
I think there's a song in there.
Yeah, right? This is the one that just captivated me. And it's the start of something freer and looser, and it's still based on that wonderful church in Sicily, and
Mm.
just it stole my heart away. Oh.
Mm. Mm.
You want to start? Should we just go back to the top?
Yeah, sure.
right. Yeah,
Whatever
that's
you want.
very interesting. Very.
I love this. They're so good.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
This
Ah.
is the least successful.
No,
Not really.
no, I
This-
like
No,
this. one.
no, this is
I
good.
don't like it at all.
Yeah, but that's,
No.
that's
Oh.
I like this one a lot.
Space in this. I love the window, through which you're looking at more you know, complex.
Yeah,
What I like
that's
about
what I
this
like too.
I'm sorry. What I like about this one is that it's not so sketched, you know, everything isn't in a box, you know,
Yeah.
or sketched out. And so it has a lot of different feelings and textures. And I think this is very interesting.
The painting here, 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 you know, with the where the scumbling, you know, where the brush strokes are apparent, the actual painting, I think is really interesting.
I do too. I like this one a lot.
It is vibrating.
That's right.
I
Mm.
personally, I thought this was really successful and I thought it was patchy, you know, it's like overworked.
Marcia, we don't want to hear your negative comments.
This I like.
This one I like the least.
I like this. I think this is very well integrated.
It is, but it doesn't capture me like the other ones.
Ah,
I mean,
Well,
they're all-
I like the first one and the last one the most.
Try to be,
Let's go to the
Not this
first.
one, there's one before this.
okay, so we'll start here.
that's great.
it is great.
Yeah.
This reminds me somewhat of, I think, the dynamism
Yeah.
of Russian constructivism. It reminds-
Yeah. So I was thinking that too. Yeah. Or futurism. Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking of the synchronism,
Okay,
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
astronomy. See,
Ooh.
I think it was around the same time frame as Malevich and the
Yeah.
other guys, but
And
slices of color, modulated color into forms that were just ethereal and not ethereal at the same time. I was thinking of the synchronomy movement.
yeah, I can see that.
I
And-
can,
You know, this is almost a portrait without features in a way, but this,
Yeah.
you know, this is the head, right?
yeah,
These shoulder.
Yeah.
So it really has a kind of you know, so similar to movements that came out of that period in time. They were abstracting traditional formats or traditional forms, right?
Yeah.
Almost
yes,
Also-
very much so.
that's been abstracted into these bands or volumes of light.
Mm. Mhm. I love
But
this.
for
This
me-
is really,
For me, it's still a little, you know, it reminds me very much on your older work in a way here.
Yeah,
It's really
Right.
nothing for me. It's not so interesting, I have to say. It's a little bit tight.
It's
and
not,
you-
not newish, not growing enough.
Right, and you have all these tight colors here. It's there is dynamism in there, but not really how it's painted. It's painted very timid, even though there is like so much energy in there. You know, it's too tight. It's too. It's not
Ah.
really painterly, not so interesting actually for me. Even the whole thing wheels around. There is a lot of energy, but it's not in the way how you painted it. You know that's much more interesting coming up the next pieces. I think what you then did, you made really a leap. You know, even this one I like that already better. There is so much looseness in there, and breathing. You can breathe. It's beautiful. You know, I
Yeah.
like that
Yeah. This is very painterly, this one.
very
What's-
much,
what
very much.
causes thank you, Barbara. What
Yeah.
causes that sense of breathing? The fact that I'm trying to learn why
Yeah,
you
you know, things are not so tight together, and here you have these white lines. You know, you didn't paint. You didn't paint the white. Maybe some are white painted. I don't know.
no,
some-
they're not.
Yeah, they are. It's the background, so it makes it. You know, there is a looseness and still very complex composition in front of me,
Oh,
and which has a lot of energy. And I like, like this green up there, the dark green, then the blue further down. It's great. I think
Mhm.
it's wonderful.
I do
The
too.
longer I look at it, it's a great piece.
I think that she's gotten away from figuration, and this is totally abstract. The other one is not abstract.
Right.
It's figuration. And here she's gotten away from that and she's into abstraction, and it's flowing. It has unity because it is abstract.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
Cool
Well,
point.
being abstract doesn't necessarily unify it, right? I
Right.
mean, repetition will unify it, repetition of color or shape. Please correct me if you think I'm wrong.
Think
I'm
on-
trying to understand why you're saying that.
Concept is what it is about, I think.
Concept,
Concept is clear in all of the following ones. The first one is not clear. Is it a portrait? Is it a whatever? We're
church, it's the church again,
it's not
church.
you, it is. These are lots to be successful.
Church with the curves, the interior of that one church. I'll get the picture. It sets me off. I mean, I don't look at it literally, but it sets me off. And I'll get the photograph.
But this is a level. It's it's just a leap.
I agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
a leap.
I think it's better, but I still don't love it as much as first of all, I love seeing everything first, before we address it. I think that's a great way to look at, the work.
Well,
Yes.
And I think it's gotten better, as it continues on.
Yeah.
Second one, Marcia.
One of where is she? Did she disappear?
I'm sorry, I missed.
I was just going to say, yeah. Okay. Sure.
I turned it around.
Yeah.
I turned it upside down.
Which one?
I just was captivated
But
by the curves, by the improbability of not only the mosaics, which I haven't even begun to depict, but the improbability of those curves. I mean, it just captivated me, and it's like just in my heart, and it will never leave. It was just so profound.
Can you show us the church again?
Pardon me?
Can you show us the image of the photograph?
If you can see it. I don't know. I'm trying to, but
no,
no, it's not happening.
what we're really looking
We
at.
saw it before.
I know, but I don't
Can
know.
you put it in front of your face?
Here it is.
Go.
Yeah, a little bit
Ah,
further from the camera away. Yeah.
look at that. Yes.
The curves.
Ah,
But listen,
Ah.
this is your inspiration, Marsha. I understand that. But once you did this painting, it's just Phyllis is right. It's an abstract. It's really an abstraction.
Painting.
The other one is still too close on the
Okay,
thing. Maybe you know what I'm saying. It's not.
mm.
Of course,
okay.
it's also an abstraction, but it's something is not
Yeah.
here. It's
It's not
just
loose.
another ball game.
Right.
You
Yeah.
I find what's really interesting about this is your color choice, your palette.
Right. Also very important. Yeah.
You've become a very, very interesting and adept colorist. I mean, I never considered you a colorist, but I do now. I think you're
Yeah.
becoming quite interesting and quite sophisticated.
And she's been a colorist ever since I've known her.
Yeah, me too.
Very interesting.
She's a very good colorist.
Yeah.
This very strange, unnameable,
Mhm.
color.
Oh, yeah.
Oppose it with
Well, it's an ochre. It's yellow ochre, and the top one is yellow ochre with a touch of
Yeah.
Naples yellow.
I'm just talking though about the way they're coordinated, with this reddish brown. You know, the colors are working. They're all working together, and they're not obvious. These are not obvious color choices.
Right.
No.
Now, this gray in here is really a surprise.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful thing, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
how you did it.
So it's very, very considered. I mean, you know, you painted this, you left it like this because it worked for you. And these are not obvious, you know,
And
Yeah.
what,
red, blue, yellow, you know, these are really unusual.
look at the turquoise in the middle there, that
Yeah.
time.
Like juxtaposing a turquoise with a cobalt blue. You know, they're all kind of blues, all
No,
these, but they're all
Middle.
the different blues up here.
Yeah.
So I find, and I find that to be the case on all of these, that the colors are really becoming something that have like almost kind of an emotional, some
Mm.
focus,
Absolutely.
quality.
They speak to me so directly. They just talk to me. I can't really explain it in a logical way,
Not supposed.
Good.
but they, you know, it's just, words fail me.
Good.
I'm usually a loss for words.
That's why you paint,
Oh, yeah,
presumably.
yeah.
Ah.
Like a different form of music.
Yes.
Yes. I
Is-
wish I understood that. I wish I did.
Masha, what,
It speaks to you, your music speaks to your heart, even though you can't fully explain it. And
Mark-
all, I mean, in my case, at all.
Right.
The color speaks to my heart.
Let's listen to Phyllis. Phyllis,
I think she's adjusted the color range to the meaning or the impact of the painting. It fits. It works.
Yeah.
And so this goes from very, very high color to low color.
Yes.
The sounds of a timpani, and then the sounds of a some.
Speaking of symphony,
exactly.
I'm totally in awe of your definition. That was the furthest thing from my mind. It just,
In your mind.
the colors just feel right.
In
And if
my-
they don't feel right, I fix them.
Well, but I'm noticing that the values, excuse me, the values are like here it's high intensity. In the
Right.
last one, it's much lower. The values are much
I did that deliberately.
softer.
So
I did that deliberately just to make a change and see
Yes.
how it would work. And sometimes I try to go monochromatically. That never seemed to work for me. It's always got to have a pop of some kind. But it's really kind of that I plan. The soft and the bright.
Yeah.
That I plan. And I try to use certain groups of colors that I hadn't used before by adjusting them in certain ways.
Mm.
But that's easy for me because I did that on the board in
Yeah.
you know, at work.
Well, I think that the later images, paintings are so much better. But I like this one too.
Yeah.
I think you're getting better, and I think the interest, you know, is much stronger as you continue on. And I think the use of your color, you know, for me, you've always been a colorist, but I think that what you've been able to do is incorporate these really interesting shades.
about color. That's
I think
Sorry, what'd you say, Phyllis? I didn't hear.
she's learned so much about color.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, you're always, to me, I don't know, I
Well-
think that's one of the strongest, parts. You're so
learning, don't we?
talented with color.
I
This-
mean, hopefully we're learning.
What I believe
Yeah,
in a way is when that you have, say my opinion, you have always a little bit a problem with red. because you know there are so many different reds, and you have always this very dark, heavy red in there, and maybe once you get rid of that, or you handle it a little bit different, it would be much. Everything would loosen up. I think the red, this kind of destroy a little bit. It's like you know, some people they have they paint the kitchen red, and it's maybe it's not really beautiful. If you're in a red room, it's not nice to sit.
Yeah.
Red is a
Okay.
very difficult color. I mean,
It is a very
well,
different.
but you know when these reds, I think when you don't use those reds, everything loosens up too, you know, in a way.
Mm.
I think, yeah, that's maybe, it sounds now a little bit like a very simple mind, but
I think
I
I
think
should,
it's very important.
Marsha, are these the reds in the painting itself, or is that the way the computer is reading them? Because
there are 3 different reds in here, 4.
and you can't see it. I think that my computer reads all my reds as blue reds, and that's not true.
I see,
No,
very-
they're all
I see
Of
I-
a
the
computer,
red in this
But
painting.
going back to what Hans is saying, Hans, are you suggesting that perhaps I not do red or modulate it or eliminate it?
take really cadmium red, which has more, let's say, really red shining. You have to do something with that. But I see always kind of this darker dead red. For me, it's like a dead red. You know, it's like
Like dried blood?
know, you know, these reds. That's what I feel when we go back to the first painting, or maybe, you know, something. I mean, here it works where you on the down here on the left side, you loosen the red up. You see that, so it becomes almost like a reflection of a lighter. Here you see also here the reds are incredible and violet. Here you see how it loosens suddenly up when you don't put this heavy red stuff around things, you know.
Mm.
And sometimes I have here, you know, you have no red. Look at this. It's immediately better, you know. I think it's.
I think we have to see the real painting because
Yeah.
reds as they are.
And here
Let's
is red in
raise
the
that.
middle, you know. That's red in the middle. It's just I don't know.
They're all tempered reds.
It kills the painting
Red
almost.
scares me, so I always temper it.
What kind of red do you use?
I used cadmium red light, cadmium red deep.
That's a real red. Go ahead.
Yeah, the deep is.
And I use cadmium red medium.
That's real red.
There's like crimson.
And I use alizarin crimson. Is that considered a red? That's a blue red.
Right.
I use the transparent orange, which is a reddened, yellowed orange. But the reds are cadmiums,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And these are oils, Marsha?
all oils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I think it's the transcription of the computer and the camera. I'd like to see the real thing.
Well, you're welcome to come.
I will.
It's very nice, I think.
I
That's a-
love this too.
But it reminds me of on something else, by the way. It's just
Well,
you know,
Mm.
Sekula or all this, you know, like painters from the 1920s, sort of.
This is embryonic.
But it's nice.
I think it's really well done. too.
this one I find very stiff. Still,
No, it's fabulous.
Oh yeah, it's
no, it's not fabulous. Okay,
warm. It's warm. It's warm.
it's studied. It's a little bit overworked. I mean, it's pleasing. It's not unpleasing, but
Sorry, Marcia, you're not allowed to give input.
Hans, what did you say it reminds you of?
Yeah, on some painters in the 20s. I mean, it's
Ah,
sort of, like cubism stuff.
oh.
But I
Mhm.
like the piece. It's very warm. There is a warmness in there.
Yes,
It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's a great piece.
I know
Mm.
this could sound kind of weird, but that looks, because of my recent experience, looks a little bit like a headstone.
I agree with you, Marie. I,
And
I,
and I
yeah.
find it really interesting,
Yeah,
you know? I
was
don't,
the day that was my anniversary.
oh,
Ah,
see, it's beautiful, Marcia.
Yes.
And you took a very, very
Mm.
tough subject and you
I
made it
couldn't
beautiful.
imagine. I was thinking of a door, and then I wasn't thinking of a door. And this kind of the Chirico high color kind of thing came into my head. And I said, it's kind of hokey, but
No, I love it.
I kind of like it. I like
yeah.
that.
And you know what I like about most? I like the blues. I like that the
Mm.
blue that looks like it's sky, and then the piece above it, that's the dark blue. I think it's so
Mm.
masterful how you did the strokes.
You
Yeah.
know, in the 20s and 30s, if you went to the O'Keeffe, there was a small Georgia O'Keeffe show. It wasn't
Yeah.
actually at MoMA. Did you see it?
No.
No, I
Well-
heard about it, but
Watercolors and just all kinds of stuff that you would not have necessarily associated with her own, of the desert and flowers and, her more subtle nuanced pieces. But, some work that was very abstract, that had a kind of a very personal, emotional content.
Mm.
And this somehow reminds me of that there's some content that really is of a very personal nature, that has a kind of a certain kind of, emotional or, psychological meaning. And I don't know what it means literally, but somehow I feel it in this work.
Elegiac.
Like the fact that you're
Elegiac.
literal, or that you're not editing, you're just letting it come. And I feel in this, and I find it very, very effective, very strong. The light in there, the
light.
Hans was saying, there's something very beautiful
And
about
I might add, that here the reds are working perfectly.
yeah,
I
beautiful.
was going to ask you about the red in that. That's like almost pure cadmium red light.
Everything is fine with also, all
Yeah.
dark reds, everything is balanced.
I think it's very interesting that it has a balance, as you said, to all the colors are so beautifully balanced, but it's not static, because maybe it's the gray on the bottom that just throws it a little bit out of kilter to make it more interesting.
This blue is so beautiful, and it's just sort of lifts the whole thing up.
Really well painted.
Yes.
This one feels a little more like your earlier work.
Yeah.
A little more.
Wasn't happy with this.
Huh?
I wasn't necessarily happy with this,
Yeah.
but I decided to leave it alone.
Yeah, good.
I would leave it alone.
Sure.
It's not so bad.
No.
It's just very. Thank you.
The reds here, I'm sure Hans approves of.
Yeah, they are nice.
Sign off on reds.
They work also very well.
How about the reds here?
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
The reds. Yes.
Hans too.
See
Yes,
them
I approve.
on my, they look pink.
They're
On
not-
monitor, they look pink.
No.
They're cadmium
See,
red.
Barbie, I'm wearing a shirt that, I think this is coral, it's not pink.
Hmm.
But I went to see Barbie because a friend of mine whose opinion I value said it's an important film.
Hmm.
Oh, I will never wear pink again in my life.
You know, Marsha, what you
Barbie.
could do, can you go back just a second? Where, you know, that it becomes more really a ball, put more brightness and more like a thing in that round ball.
Idea.
And then it pops really out, you know, and it becomes even more an object which comes toward you. I would do that here.
I agree.
That would be the most easiest thing to do. Yeah.
I didn't quite understand what you.
Like that. Put it more highlight in there. A highlight.
More color in here.
Really highlight
More.
more.
Okay,
And because that's a little bit weak how it's done there in the middle. You can really enhance that.
okay,
And then it will really pop out and it will be a great piece, I think.
Yeah.
thank you.
This is interesting. This seems different from the
Yeah.
other pieces.
It's also
Studied as the first one, the one before it. It's freer in its own way.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
like it. It's very interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
All these even symbolist paintings.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
so much dimension.
Because there's some sort of content to even though they're very abstract
Yeah.
for the viewer. I know they come from your interest in the architecture and in the churches and the cupolas and, you know, all these things, but they have a spiritual or a symbolist content.
Greens and the dark next to the dark is just magnificent.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really nice the way you took each of these colors, went and did a darker shadow
Yes.
on
I
this
I
side.
make it 3D.
Yeah, so it's really three-dimensional.
Yeah.
What
Really-
I would suggest here is, you know, when you're on the top, you see I call it this Richard Serra wall. We are looking down, you know. Can you go with the cursor mark to
Yeah.
no? Stop. Go to the more to the left, just where it hits the yellow. This wall here. Yeah, here. No, the other one. Down. Right. Go down. No, and then go more to the left now. Stop. Yeah, this is the wall. You know, which I look down, sort of.
Yeah.
I would on that edge there where it hits the yellow, go darker.
Really?
So you and then yes, and then but then just there, and then you mix it, not the whole wall, but when you
Okay.
make it darker, you know, this
Yeah.
lava, this whole
Yeah.
sun will really, you know, because when you look into something bright, everything is much darker around it. You know what I'm
On
saying?
the edge.
And then that doesn't make sense that you have it brighter. I think you should make it darker there, and then it will really, like, you feel the heat, what's going on there. And
Well,
that's what
dark against light and light against
yeah,
dark.
that's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Very
but not,
subtle, but try it out. It has a
not the
very
whole
sharp, you know, a sharp line.
yeah, not the whole thing, just the bottom.
Just a little.
Yeah,
Try it, and then it will really. You.
I'll
it's
try
like
that.
It's like a volcano exploding soon, or what?
Okay.
Marsha, what's the size of all of those?
These are, they're all done vertically, 16 by 20.
Mhm.
I hit upon that size.
Mm.
Good exercise for the church. But then I got so tired of that format that I did it the other way.
Mhm.
I just love this one. I don't think it's finished,
Mm.
but I just, I painted with a brushes, many brushes. And
Mm.
then I started trying to blend with a rag. And I love it.
I like it too.
Do you think it's finished?
I wouldn't. I think if you do more, I think you're gonna destroy it. You know, maybe it's not really, you know, there is maybe 1% so-called, which you think it's not really resolved. But I think that's maybe exactly the interesting part of it. I would do a whole series of those things, which you are really loose, you know, that where you come not from the line, you come more from the paint. And then so once you do a series of it, you will see suddenly it opens a completely new world. And I think that's, so I would take this as an inspiration. I wouldn't do anything else on it. I tell you.
Okay.
Just keep it as your inspiration and do new stuff in this manner.
Okay, and here I tried to limit my colors to first a yellow and green with peaches, sort of vernal, if you will, in feeling. But and then I had to go over to the other side, so to speak. But I won't, I felt that the bottom left and where I started using, this is red, but it's so smushed in with the other wet colors, it doesn't look like red. But I'll leave it alone, but it would open up my head.
Yeah,
I was just so,
I wouldn't touch.
I was so happy, and I've had a lot of bad stuff going on, really bad stuff. And I won't bore you with the details, and they're private anyway, but this made me happy. This one picture,
I'm gonna rotate this. I just want to see something.
yeah, sure.
Oh,
It works. And it's a big painting and I wouldn't touch it.
yeah. I
Okay.
like it like this too.
Right.
I think I like it best this way. Oh my God, doesn't it look like a head that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I don't want. I
Yeah.
wanted it
that's-
horizontal rather than vertical.
Like it horizontal the other way.
Yeah. Give it like.
Yeah, this way.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the right way.
Very nice, Marcia. I could see why it inspires you. It's very free. It's beautiful. Has a
did-
lot of action. It's beautiful.
It's floral, but it is floral and it's beautiful.
If it's good enough
You
for,
know what was my inspiration? A painting that Phyllis had done.
oh,
And she did it with a rag. She did it with brushes, of course, but she did her blending with a rag, with the heel of her hand. Who knows? Maybe she dragged in all her old clothes. But it inspired me to try it this way. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it kind of worked for me on this. And I think it just opened up a whole new vista for me.
Great. I think it's great. You made so many
Yeah.
things now which are really
Right.
I think the summer break was good for you to really it's very astonishing, yeah. How it goes.
Beautiful pieces.
It is kind of astonishing. I mean, look where I've come from totally figurative to
Right.
try my hand at this. Yeah, thank you all for your comments. I'll take them all under advisement and to heart.
Yes.
Good. Gorgeous work.
Yeah.
Look at that.
thank you for sharing them.
So Mark, I think we are already over time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
Marsha, great, absolutely great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time.
Very
yes, and Barbara also very, very
Oh, beautiful work.
interesting.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And
Let's,
You're a good audience.
let's
Oh,
be
uh,
working, you guys.
That, so if you joined us and were watching this discussion, this is what we do every week on Thursdays at what time do we normally kick this off?
11:30 to 12:30.
11:30. And so if you're interested in just looking at paintings by ourselves, I mean, you could even join us if you're interested. We have a website. Marie, what's the website? The name of it? It's
artmattersnewyork@gmail.com.
so if you're interested, we'd be happy to see what you are doing out there. We'd love to look at it and talk about it and be inspired by something different, something new. Hans, go ahead.
okay, yeah, I want to say everybody have a nice week, and we see each other next week. Yeah,
Paint up a storm.
all the best. Bye.
All the best, yes.
So we're gonna sign off on this.